Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise in opposition to this bill. Let's not get caught up in the weeds on this. There is a lot of verbiage in the legislation that can be confusing, particularly to lay people. But what doesn't confuse lay people is the time that we're living in. The time that we're living in now and why this legislation would come forward during this time, a time of unprecedented corruption at the top levels of government, and at a time where Congress has shirked its responsibility to be a check and balance on the executive branch, and instead is simply a rubber stamp to an authoritarian. And this authoritarian with a playbook, Project 2025, knows exactly what he wants from Congress, and Congress so far has been pretty complicit in carrying out his bidding. And as a former criminal defense attorney, I might seem like an easy yes on this bill, but this bill is not about giving everyone a fair shot in the justice system. No, this bill is about aiding the Trump administration's continued efforts to let white-collar criminals off the hook. And by the way, I'd be remiss for not pointing out the lawlessness of this president when the first day he's in office, he grants pardons and clemency to 1,600 plus January 6 insurrectionists without regard to culpability, without regard to knowledge and intent. He just did that and has continued to do it throughout his reign so far. Trump's Department of Justice has also gutted the top anti-corruption unit in the Department of Justice. They've removed its power to charge politicians and public officials for bribery and extortion, and reduced its staff from 30 attorneys down to 5. And I would also be remiss if I were not to point out the fact that this administration, which leads this Congress, also let a criminal defendant off the hook for a promise to open up Rikers Island, to carry out deportations, the mass deportation movement. Just close down that case just for that purpose. A lawless administration. The Trump administration also disbanded anti-corruption task forces, suspended any investigations of United States companies for alleged corruption overseas, and directed prosecutors to stop litigating fraud involving cryptocurrency. And again, involve this administration in cryptocurrency along with this Congress. This bill is just a handout to Trump's cronies who do not want to be charged with crimes like tax evasion as we pass a massive tax cut for the wealthy at the expense of the poor. It's a giveaway to corporate fat cats who want to line their pockets by polluting our air and our water to cut their costs. And if we hamstring the government's ability to charge these corporations for things like environmental crimes, big business will increase their profits by dumping more toxic waste into water, and Americans will pay with their health when these chemicals cause cancer, but you won't have a health system to get treated by because they're cutting Medicaid, they're cutting Medicare, and as a result of withdrawing that much money, trillions of dollars, $1.5 trillion from our healthcare system, hospitals and clinics and doctors' offices are going to be closing. So while these polluters are let off the hook criminally, the people will suffer. So let's look at this bill holistically. Let's look at it at this time when it's being introduced, and let's ask ourselves, why now? This is not a serious effort. I'm in favor of bipartisan criminal justice reform, but this is not it, and I urge my colleagues to oppose this bill, and with that, I yield